Will the secret to saving or destroying the Flashpoint universe lay somewhere with the Clockwork Killer? Well, let's hop into the pages of Flashpoint Beyond issue number 4 and find out together, shall we? So then, as the comic opens up, we're back at Arkham Asylum. One of the janitors is listening to the radio, and we're gotten up to speed on a bunch of other storylines that have been happening in the periphery of this one. You remember the Kryptonian invasion, the Suicide Squad that's made up of 100 different members and is currently fighting the Amazons over Russia to try and stop World War III from happening. Stories that are arguably much more interesting than this meandering mystery that Thomas Wayne has been trying to solve. The workers at Arkham also drop reference to the fact that Psycho Pirate probably didn't kill himself and that he was murdered. Yet again, chop that up to another mystery that Thomas Wayne started solving and then just kind of forgot about. I mean, seriously, if his main universe son wears the mantle of world's greatest detective, is Thomas actively trying to win the mantle of worst detective? Because I think he's a shoo-in at this point. I kid, of course. For once, this issue actually does involve Thomas trying to actually solve a crime. It seems that after Eobard Thawne was the newest victim of the Clockwork Killer, Flashpoint Batman decided that maybe he should actually look into these strange ritualistic serial killings instead of just letting it sit on the back burner. After all, he knew Eobard Thawne was Reverse Flash, and that he was involved in the original Flashpoint story, so maybe he'll find something by doing his own autopsy on the body. And again, hey, isn't it fun that this surgeon Batman does his own autopsies? I actively wish there were more character moments like this in the rest of the story, but believe it or not, the bulk of the story isn't actually about Thomas at all. Instead, it's about Dexter Dent, the young boy that Batman adopted/kidnapped after his sister killed herself, his mother went crazy, and his father was murdered. Dexter hears a story on television about all the horrors of Arkham Asylum and how it might very well make the patients there worse, which he doesn't actually like because, well, his mom is a patient there. So, apropos of that, Dex decides to put his week's worth of training under the Penguin in combat, firearms, and lockpicking to work, as he dons an impromptu Robin costume in the Batcave to go and spring his mother. He also drops a rather interesting quote. He says, "Don't get scared now," which you may remember is what Macaulay Culkin said in the first Home Alone movie. Oh my god, is that why he's blonde? Is that why he has glasses? Is that what they've been building up to this whole time? Is Dexter Dent just meant to be Macaulay Culkin? Oh my god. Thomas returns to the cave not long after, and Penguin is horrified that the boy has gone missing. Penguin begs Thomas to go and find him before he gets himself killed breaking into Arkham. But what at this point is sadly very much on brand for Thomas, he says he doesn't care. Yeah, so much for that last issue and Flashpoint Batman hanging out with this world's Superman and learning that despite how much he doesn't care about this universe and who lives and who dies, there are actual real thinking, feeling people who live in this place and are trying their hardest to save this world. Alas, though, Thomas is still not one of those people because he really only has enough mental bandwidth to deal with one problem at a time, and this problem involves him trying to put together all the clock gear pieces from all the murders we've seen throughout the series. No, don't ask how he got all of that important evidence from all these big high-profile murders, he just did. Now, how does Dexter Dent fare trying to break his mom out of Arkham? Pretty good, actually. I guess Penguin is not only one of the more sympathetic characters in the story, but I guess he was a good teacher, too, because Dexter totally decks the security force. Geez, you know, there's something arguably kind of comforting knowing that it doesn't matter what universe you're in the multiverse, Arkham security totally sucks and can get taken apart by a child. Now, it's here we end up getting a big two-pronged finale. Dex finds his mother, only to realize that her face has been all chopped up as she is now this world's answer to Two-Face. While simultaneously, Thomas manages to assemble the clock that the Clockwork Killer was leaving behind inside all of his victims. Here's the thing, though. He's missing a piece, though. One that he actually ends up finding, get this, in his own home, in the grandfather clock that usually opens the secret passageway to the Batcave. And that would be because the Clockwork Killer, the person who probably killed Psycho Pirate, and the person who is acting as the other voice inside the head of Gilda Dent, is all ultimately revealed to be the very same person. Martha Wayne, the Joker, seemingly back again from her suicide at the end of the original Flashpoint story. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this twist here feels completely predictable and yet somehow also equally disappointing. But wait, we're not done yet, because as the comic comes to a close, we're once again in the main universe Batcave, as the strange snow globe that Batman has been carrying around from the Time Master's vault vault begins to activate. As Corky Baxter explains, this is blue shift energy, the most powerful and volatile energy within the divine continuum, and that Batman has played with fire way too long, and now as punishment he's going to learn some really truly dark secrets about his mother. And so that was Flashpoint Beyond issue number 4, everybody, and if issue 3 had actually managed to hook me and get me back in, then sadly issue 4 ended up losing me all over again. This Thomas Wayne is written by Geoff Johns is just so wholly unlikable and completely unproactive as a protagonist. By design, he doesn't care about anything or anyone, and because of that, I have a hard time caring about him or his plight. Johns also populates this book with a lot of different window dressing, a lot of events happening elsewhere on the radio that we only kind of hear about. Again, I get the distinct feeling that these all aren't going to actually end up being important in the story as a whole, and they're only here as window dressing, you know, like so much stuff in Watchmen was. Only, you know, that stuff actually helped build a brand new original world from the ground up. Also, too, the big reveal that Martha Wayne might actually be the Clockwork Killer and be the big secret bad guy of this all is, to me at least, honestly, one of the more disappointing twists I've seen all year. Johns returning to Flashpoint means he could basically have done whatever he wanted and used whatever other characters he hadn't yet, but for some reason, he just went back to the well and picked one that he had already worked with previously. It's like, why even go back to Flashpoint all these years later if you're not gonna make new stuff and you're just gonna wallow in what came before? Also, the longer Dark Crisis goes on, the less I actually put any faith into this whole divine continuum thing. They're certainly trying to tell us that these stories are taking place at the same time and that they're both ultimately gonna end up mattering. And with 2 issues left to figure it out, maybe they will, but as far as I'm concerned, these 2 stories feel like they're taking place on completely different planets. Overall, I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 6.5 out of 10. Did not enjoy it, was not to my taste. If you are enjoying it, more power to you. Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.